Stay classy, Golden Eagles. So this is the third video of lesson number 1. I left you thinking about what did you learn in that next part of the story. If you need more time, you remember you can always pause on anything, or if you want to look at a picture a little longer, you can always pause. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. This is where I left you last time. He was flying over Ireland and waving at a sea captain. Limburg sees in the distance low mountains, and now he's awake with new hope. Land is near. He quickly unfolds a map across his knees. He flies over the southern tip of Ireland. He is on the right course. Cows graze on green hills. People in horse-drawn carts look up and wave. He could land in Ireland, but he decides to go on. He wants to complete his dream. Remember, you can always pause and look a little bit closer at the pictures if you want to. It is 1:52 in the afternoon New York time as he crosses England. It is Limburg's 31st hour in the air. He crosses even more water. The wide day is slowly ebbing towards twilight. When he sees land, the coast of France, children run out of their homes and watch him fly by. Ebbing means changing. He continues on. Then Limburg spies a glow ahead of him. Paris. I am here, I am here. A great joy wells up inside of him. For a moment, he does not want the flight to end. Huddled inside his tiny box house, folded in the dense hum of the airplane's engine, he loves the strange closeness to the clouds and to the sky. It is 4:52 in the afternoon New York time, Limburg's 34th hour in the air. What did you learn in that part of the story that you just heard? Go ahead and hit pause, think about it, then hit play when you're done. Above all, Limburg sees are many, many, many small lights. But now he must concentrate on just one thing, the sod or the grass, coming up to meet him. Closer, closer, closer. The plane touches the ground, it bounces, rolls, hugs the solid earth. It is 10:22 Paris time. The flight has taken 33 and a half hours. Thousands of people are running towards the plane. For a moment, Limburg is dazed. It seems to him as if he were drowning in a great sea. People surround the plane cheering, but Limburg could hardly hear them. His ears seem to have been deafened by the hours of the roaring engine. Crowds pull him out of the cockpit. Men and women are calling his name over and over again. They carry him on their shoulders. Others begin to tear pieces of the plane. More than anything else, Limburg wants to save the spirit of St. Louis. His first words are a question. Are there any mechanics here? But no one speaks English. Finally, 2 French aviators arrive to help him. Policemen guard the plane. The aviators take Limburg away from the still, cheering crowd. The Spirit of St. Louis was the name of his plane, and he named it after the people of St. Louis who helped him purchase the plane. In the airplane's hangar, he tells the story of his flight to the other pilots. The crammed cockpit, the loneliness, the long, long night. Meanwhile, unknown to Limburg, newspaper headlines all over the world are beginning to blazon the news. American hero, safe in Paris. Limburg is driven off to the American embassy. He answers more questions about his flight. He has not slept in over 60 hours. Finally, at 4:15 in the morning, he goes to bed. When he wakes, his life will be changed forever. When he wakes, there will be huge parades and medals and speeches. He will be the most famous man in the world. It is the year 1927. It is 1927, and his name is Charles Limburg. Okay, so guys, a little bit more backstory behind Charles Limburg. He is the first person to cross the Atlantic Ocean. He did not go in a direct path across the ocean. If you can think of a map of, where the eastern coast of the United States is and where Europe is, he did not go in a direct route. He went up and around. And the reason he did that, and they explained that a little bit in the video, is so he would have better points of reference going up and over, so he could chart the land and have a better idea where he was. And also, if he needed to make an emergency landing, he could. But he obviously couldn't do that at the top of it when he starts actually having to cross the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean. So he did become the world's most famous man. People all over the world, not just in the United States, knew Charles Limburg. This was a huge feat for people to accomplish, to fly that far and for that long. Okay? So just a couple things here really quickly before we end this lesson. So, what do you think how do you think Lindbergh feels like at this point in the book? The book's over. How do you think he feels? Besides tired, because he's obviously tired. He's been up for 60 plus hours. How do you think he feels at this part in the book? Okay? I want you to think about that. Don't forget to use our new prompt. The reason that I think this is, and I'd like you to give multiple reasons. So here's a challenge for Mr. Holt's class and my class. What I want you guys to do is I want you to answer that question. How do you think Charles Lindbergh feels at the end of this book, at the end of his historic flight, using the prompt? The reason that I think this is blank, and I want you to read that. I want you to type your answer, and saying that he's tired is not an acceptable one. How do you think he feels at this point at the end of it? Obviously, he's tired. We can all agree to that. But type that in the comments below or email to myself or Mr. Holt. As always, stay classy, Golden Eagles.